A big thank you to Ronin's Tavern for sponsoring today's video. Ronin's Tavern recently sent me this Gear 5 Monkey D. Luffy playmat, and I am absolutely in love with it. The design is amazing, the quality is impressive. If Monkey D. Luffy's not your style, they do have plenty of other playmats to choose from as well. Take a look at them. The link is going to be in the description. Thanks again, Ronin's Tavern. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny TCG. I'm excited to see you here today. Today we're talking about a leader that not a lot of people play nowadays. I don't think people ever really played her, and that is OP06 Red Purple Uta, a leader that I honestly can't say is great. She has potential. Red Purple is always an interesting combination, whether it's Red Purple Luffy, Red Purple Law, of course, Red Purple Kid. The ability to ramp to these big bodies is just so enticing, you know? But unfortunately, Red Purple Uta does have some major flaws. One being that you have to trash a card from your hand to do so, and then of course she is a 4-life leader. That makes her kind of fragile. Depending on the type of deck you're playing against, that 4-life can become 1 life and then 0 life real quickly, folks. I can't say it's the best deck in the world, but you can try her out, you can have a good time. I certainly did. I think you might enjoy this deck list, and I would love to hear your feedback on it. Today we're going to do a deep deck profile, taking a look at all the cards in the deck. Then we're going to do a custom leader giveaway. This one is really nice. You're going to want to stick around for that, folks. And then of course we're going to take this deck to the sim, see how it does, and then talk about it afterwards. If you're new to the channel, if you're old to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's get in the deck profile. For those that don't know, Uta is a film leader with the ability of when attacking, you may trash one film card from your hand, then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2000 power until the end of the turn. Then you get to ramp a Don as rested from your Don deck. To me, she kind of feels like a combination of red blue Marco and purple yellow Robin. The ability to ramp, the ability to give minus power to your opponent's characters. Unfortunately, trashing a card from your hand just feels so bad. There are some ways to mitigate it, but I really never feel comfortable with decks that make you trash a card from hand unless you have other ways to increase your draw power, which there are, but just in this current meta, at least for me, I much prefer a 5-life leader if they're going to require me to trash cards from hand, or a 4-life leader that doesn't require me to trash cards from hand. Depending on the matchup though, that cannot be the biggest deal. Of course, the whole point of the stamp is to ramp to some really strong red boss monsters, which this deck has plenty. Starting off, we're running a film/red hair pirates build. We are going to start off with this Uta searcher from OP09. Very simple red hair pirate searcher. One cost 2000 power, 1k counter. Not a lot to say about this, folks. We're looking for our big bodies. I'm talking Shanks, I'm talking Shanks, I'm talking Shanks, folks. We're looking for Shanks basically every single time, unless we need counter, and then maybe we're looking for lime juice. Next we have Shiraya, a blocker that doesn't really see play in a lot of decks nowadays, but is definitely solid. He has a very cool ability. 3 cost, 4000 power, 1k counter. Isn't an amazing stat line, but he has the ability of when attacking and when blocking once per turn, this character's base power becomes the same as your opponent's leader, which can be pretty cool and pretty strong sometimes. It's not something that's always happening and I'm always going to be utilizing it, but it certainly does have some utility, which I appreciate. Next we have Baccarat, a 3 cost 4000 power blocker from OP07. She has the ability of on your opponent's attack, you may trash one card from your hand, then give up to one of your leader or characters plus 2000 power during the turn. Now this is great because it's going to be able to turn some of your bricks in hand, all of your Shanks, the Rayleigh, into counter when you really need it. Of course, towards the end of the game, you don't want to get rid of these big bodies, but sometimes you really just need the counter. Her requiring you to trash a card does feel kind of bad because with this deck, at least in my build, you're never going to have a ton of extra cards to give, but the ability does come in handy sometimes, so that's why I'm running her. If you have other suggestions, I forget the name of that other blocker. Maybe it's Corona, something like that. That is also another 3 cost blocker option, but so far, Baccarat, solid, a film type card that you can trash with leader ability. Next up, I have the 3 cost 3000 power 2k counter Lime Juice from OP09. This card is an absolute beast. You'll see in my game against a yellow Eustace Captain Kid just how strong this card is. On play, prevent one of your opponent's characters with a power of 4000 or less to activate blocker. This is huge for obvious reasons, going for game at the end of the game. If they've just got a chump blocker on the board, this is a perfect way to get around it. Searchable off the red Uta. How can you hate this card, folks? Next up, we have a promo card, a 3 cost, 2000 power, 2k counter Beppo. This Beppo is mostly because he's a 2k counter, but he does have some synergy with our leader. He has the ability of Don ×1 when attacking, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power level of 3000 or less. Combining this with your leader ability, and you can hit a 5000 power character, which is 100% relevant. The issue is, of course, he's just a 3 cost body, and he only has 2000 power. So if you want to make an actual useful swing with him, you're going to have to invest a lot of Don. Despite this though, he is a searchable 2k, and for that reason I do think he's relevant. Next up, we have what I like to play a lot on our 6th Don turn, our 6 cost 7000 power Douglas Bullet, a 1k counter from OP06. He has the ability of if your leader has the film type, you give this character blocker. So if you're going first, you can ramp on your 2nd turn, and then on your 3rd turn, you will be at 6 Don and can play this card out. Getting him out early would be very nice because you can block with the 7000 power character that turn. Not a lot to say about this guy, folks, just a big beefy blocker. Next up, we have a 6 cost 4000 power 2k counter Uta, a blocker from the new Shanks starter deck 23, I believe that is. She has the ability of if you have a character with 10,000 power or more on the field, give this character -4 cost from your hand. Then she has the blocker attribute. So basically, late in the game, you can cheat her out for only 2 Don, which is absolutely crazy. Now, honestly, I'm thinking I should bump her up to 4 and then maybe take out 2 Beppos. They're both searchable off the film searcher, Bonafista. The Beppo ability doesn't come up as much as I would love to, so I'm actually thinking on the spot that we go down 2 Beppos and maybe increase that to 2 Utas. When she's on the field, a 6 cost blocker can sometimes be annoying to deal with for your opponent, and a 2k counter at the end of the day. I really like this card in this deck. Next up, I'm running 3 Silver Israeli, an 8 cost 8000 power character that basically everybody knows at this point. He's played in a ton of decks. On play, choose up to 2 of your opponent's characters, give one of them -3000 power, the other one -2000 power until the start of your next turn. After this, you KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 3000 or less. Now, he's not searchable in this deck, which isn't ideal, but at the same time, he is just a beast. If you can find him on curve, which you ramped to, it's a great way to control the board, and if your opponent doesn't have an easy way to deal with him, now you just you ramped to an 8 cost 8000 power body. How can you hate that, folks? You can even combine him with your leader ability to hit bigger bodies. Using Uta's leader ability, you're able to give someone -2000 power. That makes the targets that Rayleigh can hit even higher. Next up, I'm running 3 of the 9 cost 10,000 power Shanks. This Shanks is also from the new starter deck with the Uta. He has the ability of if your opponent has a character with 8000 base power or more, give this card -3 cost from your hand. So if you're playing him late in the game and your opponent has a big body out, you can get him out for only 6 Don. Then he has the ability of if your leader has the Red Hair Pirates type or is Uta, your leader gets +2000 power until the start of your next turn. This is a great way to turn your leader into a 7000 power base. Now, the bad thing about this card is for the most part, you're going to want to be playing him late in the game. You're not really cheating him out because you want to get that ability of making him a 6 cost character. But at the same time, if it's late in the game, this 10 cost Shanks is probably going to be more relevant. This other 10 cost Shanks is probably going to be more relevant. So he's not always the ideal card to play, but there are certain circumstances where he is really valuable. I would definitely run him at least 2 in this deck. Give him a shot. Let me know what you think about him. I also don't think it would be a terrible idea to maybe run him to 3 and really just trying to find this card even more than you already are. Making your leader, of course, a 7000 power base is so strong. Next, we're running 4 copies of the 10 cost 12,000 power Pop Shanks from OP06. He has the on play of KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 10,000 or less. This absolutely feels so good in today's meta. Combining with your leader ability, you can hit 12,000 power characters. Not a lot for me to say about this card, folks, just an amazing card to play, and if your opponent doesn't run Red Rock, it's going to be really hard for them to deal with this card. Next up, we have the other 10 cost Shanks, this one from OP09. This is a 10 cost 12,000 power Rush, who has the ability of when this card is in play, give all of your opponent's characters -1000 power. This is a great card to play out if your opponent doesn't have any big bodies to target with this Shanks. Just establishing 1 or even 2 of these can be absolutely brutal for your opponent to deal with. Now, if your opponent runs Red Rock, they're going to get rid of this real quickly, but he's definitely really strong, and I love ramping into him. Basically, that's the whole point of this deck, is if you like playing these 2 10 cost Shanks, ramp into them and have a great time. We've got one more 10 cost card in this deck, and that is the 10 cost 13,000 power Goldie Roger, the secret rare from OP09. For those that don't know, he has Rush, and then he also has the ability of if you or your opponent have 0 life cards, if your opponent activates blocker during this turn, you just win the game. That is crazy, folks, especially getting him out early. Like, getting him out early can be insane if your opponent doesn't have a card that can deal with him. Turning off blockers is just an insane ability, folks. Of course, only if you're at 0 life or less, or your opponent's at 0 life or less. This is just such a fun card, kind of a meme card sometimes, but I like throwing 1 or 2 copies of Roger into a deck like this. Next up, we have Buena Vista, a 1-cost 0-power film searcher, 2k counter, which is very nice. Because he's a 2k counter, I always feel bad playing him out just because I'd rather keep that counter in my hand. But of course, he does look up film type cards, which can help us find some of our other cards like Ein, this 10-cost Shanks, which is film. Unfortunately, the other Shanks cards are not film, but this one is at least. And then, of course, our Douglas Bullet and some of our 2Ks. Next up, we have 4 copies of the Starter Deck 5 Ein, a 4-cost 5,000 power character that's basically a worse Bon Clay. The reason I have her in the deck instead of Bon Clay is the fact that you can trash her off your leader ability, which that does have a lot of value, folks. There are definitely times in this deck, maybe you have to change up the ratios, but you don't really have a lot of options to trash when you want to ramp with your leader ability, because as a reminder, you do have to trash a film type card. So that's why I'm running her instead of Bon Clay. Bon Clay is undoubtedly better though, but I think in this situation with this leader, you got to go Ein over Bon Clay. For those that don't know, I should have said this earlier, her on play is Rampadon is rested. Solid, but man, I just want to play Bon Clay. Then the last character card we're running is the 5-cost 6,000 power Guild Tessero from OP06, a 1k counter. I'm only running 2 of these. He has the on play of Don -1. If your leader has film, draw 2 4-cost or lower film cards from your trash. That is solid to get back your counter, and one of the ways this deck can mitigate the issues of running low in cards in hand. But at the same time, you do have to -1 Don, which, depending on the circumstance, you're really not trying to do because you are trying to ramp to those 10-cost bodies, of course. There are situations where it isn't the biggest deal to do, but there are other situations where I don't love him. I really feel like maybe I need to commit to him more and just really commit to getting those cards back so I don't always feel like I'm running low on cards, but at the same time, I'm trying to ramp as fast as possible, folks. Let me know what you think about him in the comments down below. Then last but not least, I'm running 1 copy of Gum Gum Mulgun, 4 cost from Starter Deck 21. This event has the ability of Activate Main, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 5,000 power during this turn. Then if you have a character with a power of 6,000 or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 2,000 or less. You can target a body to minus, and then you can pop a smaller blocker. You can target a body, target that body and pop it as well. There's a lot of options with this card. Combining it with your leader ability can be dangerous as well. I really like it in this deck as a spicy, like, situational card. You'll even see in one game this actually kind of saves me. Stick around for that, folks. You won't want to miss that. I'm telling you, some of these games today were pretty intense, and I may or may not have won at the last moment. You'll have to wait and see. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I like this card as a 1-of in this deck. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And that is my deck list for this deck. This is a fun jank leader that I like to mess around with from time to time. If you've ever played her, if you've got a deck list you're cooking, I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Before we get into the gameplay, I do have a giveaway for you. I was not lying. Today we're going to be giving away a custom Uta leader using artwork from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. I am not the artist. I am not selling this. This is just a fun personal fan project of mine. The art is a Halloween styled art, which I think is really cool. All you have to do to win this card is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. If this video gets 25 likes in the first 24 hours, I will randomly choose a US based commenter and send it to you completely free. That's all you have to do, folks, is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. Honestly, I don't know if anyone cares about red purple Uta, so getting to 25 likes in the first 24 hours might be a little bit of a big ask, but we'll see, folks. If you like the content, if you want to stay up to date with the content, consider hitting that subscribe button. It makes my day. It's free, it's easy, it's painless. And with that, editor, run the gameplay. Our first match of the day is going to be against a green jewelry Bonney, a leader that has always been pretty strong. We are going to be going on the odd curve. First up, we can play down this red Uta searcher from OP9, looking for a red hair pirates card, and we'll take that 10 cost Shanks, 2 Don for them to work with. They're going to play down the jewelry Bonney searcher, but not search with her, so they could leave a Don up for leader ability. I'm thinking here we just swing 5,000 with our leader into their leader, then play down the Shiraya. I think that's probably going to be the move. We're going to trash a Baccarat from our hand so that we can use leader ability. It does stink that we do have to trash cards from our hand to use leader ability. We're going to ramp it down there. We're trying to get out our big bodies as fast as possible, folks. They'll take that first swing. We'll play down the Shiraya and pass it back to them for Don for them to work with. We could see an Arush here. They're going to start out with a Jewelry Bonney search using that 1 cost on the field. They'll draw Kidding Killer from starter deck 24. That is a very nice searcher. They're going to play that down right now. Doing another search, they're finding that 8 cost kid. Now they'll give a Don to their leader, swing 6,000 into our rested Uta character, and we are definitely going to let this Uta die. They didn't leave any Don up for leader ability, but with that 2 cost Kidding Killer's ability, they can trash them and then restand a Don to use leader ability. 6 Don for us to work with here. Not a great 6 Don play for us. I'm thinking we just swing big into their 1 cost rested Jewelry Bonney Searcher and then play down another 3 cost Shariah. We're not going to use leader ability again. We're set up very nicely to drop a Rayleigh next turn and then a 10 cost Shanks after that. They are going to use leader ability to rest our Shariah, and then we'll play down another Shariah. 6 Don for them to work with. We could see Cavendish here. A Carrot would also be very nice. They're going to play down the Carrot, freeze our rested Shariah, then swing 5,000 into our life, which we will take and get the 2k counter Buena Vista. Happy to find that, as it is a 2k counter, and we don't have any counter in our hand right now. We're going to start off our turn by swinging 5,000 with our leader, and then I imagine they'll use leader ability to rest our standing Shariah. 5,000 into them. They will take that, and now we'll play down the Silver's Rayleigh. We're going to be able to pop that Carrot and pass it back to them. 8 Don for them to work with. We are in a very good spot, folks. We've got a wide board developing. They're going to play down a Cavendish, restand 2 Don, 5 Don now. They'll tap a Don to play out another 1 cost Jewelry Bonney Searcher, resting that to do a search and finding a starter deck 2 Jewelry Bonney. So they just found a searcher off the searcher. I wouldn't be surprised if they play that again and just do another search. I got to remove those searchers from the board, so they're kind of like pseudo blockers. They're going to swing 7,000 into one of our rested Shariahs, and we are just going to let that go. 1 Don left up so they can use leader ability. 10 Don for us to work with here. That 10 cost Shanks is going to get dropped. I guess the correct order is technically to swing first with Silver's Rayleigh. We're going to do that and clear this Jewelry Bonney Searcher. Don't want them to continuously get value from it. They're going to rest our Shariah, so we can swing with our leader, which is pretty nice. 5,000 into their leader. I'd expect them to start countering out of some of these swings just because they have so many cards in hand. And now for 10 Don, we can drop the 10 cost Shanks. I do ponder for a moment if I should play down the 9 cost Shanks instead, just because I could save this 10 cost Shanks for a bigger body, but that Cavendish is too valuable to let it stay alive, so we are going to drop the 10 cost Shanks to get rid of it. They're going to have the 8 cost Kid now, playing that down, giving him a Don, and then resting him, I imagine, to play out a blocker. They'll swing 5,000 at Shariah with their leader. I am tempted to counter out of this just to keep this Shariah alive and keep a wide board as much as possible, and we'll get rid of a 2k counter to keep the Shariah alive. What will they play off the Eustace Captain Kid? If they play anything, they will play down that 2 cost Rosinante, which is absolutely perfect. Unfortunately for them, I do have the Gum Gum Mulligan, which is the perfect counter to an 8 cost Eustace Captain Kid. We're able to minus the Eustace Kid's power, pop the Rosinante. We'll swing 12,000 into it with our 10 cost Shanks, and that is amazing. We don't have enough Don to play out any other big bodies this turn, but we can do a search with Buena Vista. Doesn't feel great getting rid of a 2k counter from our hand, but I think it's worth it. We're going to take the starter deck Uta, which we can cheat out now because her ability allows her to be cheated out if you have a character with 10,000 power or more on the field. We'll swing 8,000 with our Uta into their life, which they'll take, and then we'll play out that blocker Uta for only 2 Don. Gotta love that. They will have the 9 cost Shanks from starter deck 16 to pop our 10 cost Shanks. That feels really bad. This 5,000 power swing we will take. Going down to 2 life, though, does feel pretty sketchy. Here we can establish our 10 cost Shanks, which is great. I could also play the 9,000 power Shanks, which isn't a bad, or the 9 cost Shanks, which isn't a bad idea either because it will bump up our leader. We're going to start off with the Rayleigh swing, 8,000 into their life. With their leader ability, they'll rest our leader and take that swing. They've got so many cards in hand. Even though they're down to 1 life, I have a feeling they're going to be very hard to finish off. Now we're going to play down our 10 cost Shanks from OP09, swing into their life. They're going to take that as well. Now we give all of their characters minus 1,000 power with our 10 cost Rush Shanks, which is awesome. They're going to play down another 8 cost Eustace Captain Kid, give a Don to it, then swing 10,000 into Rayleigh with their 9 cost Shanks. I definitely think we should block out of this. Keep that Rayleigh on the board, even though they're going to be able to rest it next turn or when we swing back into them. That's going to be a bummer. They've got a 2 cost Rosinante. Unfortunately, we do not have a Mulligan to deal with that Rosinante. 5,000 at us now with their leader, and I'm going to want to counter out of this. I do not want to go down to 1 life. They'll pass it back to us with 1 Don left standing. We draw another 2k counter at Beppo. That's nothing too crazy. Right here, I think our best play is playing down the 9-cost Shanks, which we can actually cheat out for only 6 Don, which is good news. Then the question is, how do we order our swings into this Eustace Captain Kid? I'm going to start off with a 13,000 power swing into it with our OP09 Shanks, and they're only a 7,000 power character right now because of that OP09 Shanks ability. They're going to rest our Rayleigh, which makes a lot of sense. 13,000 and 7,000. They will be able to counter out of this, which is a real big bummer because that means they can block this next swing with our Uta into their kid with their Rosinante if they need it. It's tempting to almost use leader ability there to lower the power of the Eustace Kid even more, but I do not want to get rid of a 2k from my hand. They will block that swing with their 2-cost Rosinante. I really just hope they don't have another blocker to pair with this 8-cost kid. They're going to have the Hody Jones, and are they going to go for game, folks? I am a 7,000 power leader right now, and I do have 3 2Ks in my hand, which is huge and might save the game for me. We'll see. 3 Don left up. They're going to give 2 Don to their leader and start off with a 7,000 power swing into our leader. We can counter out of this one if we so choose. Should I bait them to go for game? They do not have lethal here. I'm going to counter out of that first one. They could try to, they can't even really clear my bodies. 7,000 with Hody into our life. We can take this and then maybe convince them to swing with the Eustace Captain Kid and counter out of this. And with that, we will basically win the game. It's not guaranteed though. I mean, they could have left the Don up for leader ability and left this Eustace Captain Kid sideways on the board. Try to clear our board a little bit. 10,000 into our life with their 9-cost Shanks, and they are just going to concede because we would have been able to win on the clapback. They could have definitely done that turn differently based on what's in their hand at the end of the game. I do see they had a searcher, another blocker, but I get why they went for game there. That 9-cost Shanks really did come in clutch with the power up for our leader to get to 7,000 power. Now we've got a game against blue-green Sanji, starter deck 12. This is going to be a rough one for us. I'm already feeling it. They are going to be able to apply a lot of pressure, not only swinging with their leader, but swinging twice with a lot of their characters using their leader ability. Off of our Uta search, we can only take another 10-cost Shanks. This hand is bricked up, folks. We have 2 2Ks and then a whole bunch of bricks. 5,000 at us now with their leader, and we are going to take that even though it feels bad. Now we're just going to swing really big into this Cavendish, hoping that we could clear it. They did. Cheat that Cavendish out with that 4-cost or 3-cost Mihawk. We're going to trash a card from our hand. It has to be a film card, and so we have to get rid of a 2k counter, which maybe that decision was questionable, but the whole point of this deck is to ramp, and we are happy to see that Cavendish get KO'd by our leader swing. Now we're going to be in a good spot to get to the big bodies as quickly as possible. They've got another Dracula Mihawk into Cavendish combo. That is rough. They're going to be able to swing 5,000 at us. We are going to take that as well. I should have countered out of that. I'm going to have to counter out of this swing, a 6,000 power leader swing. I already have a bad feeling about this game, folks. We're going to be able to swing 6,000 with our leader, but we have no way of removing their 4-cost Cavendish. And 4-cost Cavendish is so strong in the starter deck 12 Zoro Sanji. Yeah, I wish we could play a Rayleigh right here. Unfortunately, we cannot. I mean, if we had a 4-cost Ein to pair along on our second turn, that would have been crazy because now we'd be at our Rayleigh turn. But alas, we do not. We're going to swing 6,000 with our leader. I'm thinking here that we can use leader ability to get to 10 Don next turn and then possibly play out a 10-cost Shanks. But I don't want to trash. The only card I can trash is that 6-cost Douglas Bullet, and that's what I plan to play this turn. Literally no other card in my hand has value on this turn, so I'm not going to use leader ability there. Maybe that was another misplay. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I should have played down that 6-cost Douglas Bullet. They're going to take that, and then we're going to play down the 6-cost 7,000 power Douglas Bullet blocker. Solid card, but in this matchup, I don't think it'll be enough. 7 Don for them to work with. It'll be interesting to see what they have here. They will have that 5-cost Smoker. That is the perfect card in this matchup. Just being able to banish our life. We don't have a lot of counter in hand right now. I am not excited to see that. They're going to be able to restand a Don using Smoker's ability. Start off with a 5,000 power Dracula Mihawk swing. I'm tempted to free block this with Douglas Bullet, but instead I'm going to 2k counter out of it with a Lime Juice. Now 7,000 power with their Cavendish into our life. Maybe I should have free blocked that first Dracula Mihawk swing and tempted them to swing into our Douglas Bullet. We are going to take that. Then they're going to give a Don to their leader, swing 7,000 at us. We are going to free block that. Instead of free blocking, I definitely should have just given them a 2k, and then I should have blocked this Cavendish swing with Douglas Bullet and then 2k'd to keep the Douglas Bullet alive. In hindsight, I realized the error of my ways. Now I will have that Silver's Rayleigh. That's going to be huge for us. I'm thinking here, maybe I try to... I might even be able to clear both of these. The thing is, I want to swing first with my Uta so I can use leader ability, because I think getting this Smoker off the board would be ideal. I can give a Don to my leader, swing 6,000 into the Cavendish, who will now become a 4,000 once I trash the Ein. Now, unfortunately, we do know they bounced a 2k counter Mihawk back to their hand, so this probably won't be a hard thing for them to counter out of, and they will with the 2k, 1k. Now we're going to play down the Silver's Rayleigh, make minus 3,000 to the Smoker, and then we're going to be able to pop the Cavendish. I wonder if there was a better way for me to do that. I just don't know, folks. You can let me know in the comments down below if there was a more ideal way to handle that situation. I think I maybe should have given minus 2,000 using leader ability to the Smoker, so we could have gotten rid of that. They're going to play down the Dracula Mihawk into an Arlong, and Arlong prevents our leader from swinging next turn. They have to trash a card to utilize that Arlong, and they're going to trash a 2k counter. That is an interesting turn of events. And then they're going to have the 2-cost Koshiro to play down, a nice blocker. With Smoker, they're able to restand a Don. Then they're going to swing big with him, 7,000 into us. We're going to take that instead of blocking it. Then they're going to swing 7,000 with their leader into us. We can either block this or lose, and we will block it. And then that's game. We got beat really fast there, folks. Turn 5, let's get a rematch. Hopefully, maybe I can redeem myself. Uta is a very fragile deck. She can lose very quickly if you don't see the exact pieces you need. They're going to give us the rematch. Hopefully, we can redeem ourselves now. We're going to be on the odd curve. We'll start out with an Uta search, and I'm thinking we take the 10-cost Pop Shanks here. I don't know if we can go wrong with any of them, but we're going to go with that one. 2 Don for them to work with starting out. I'm hoping that this game goes much better than the last. We do have a decent amount of counter in our hand, a couple film cards. They're going to start off with a 2-cost Nami Searcher from OP3 and Whiff. I think this might be our time to win, folks. Our time to shine. We're going to start off by swinging 5,000 with our leader, debating who I should trash here with leader ability. A couple fair options, but of course I hate ever trashing a card. I think I'm going to go with the Shiraya. I don't know how great Shiraya is going to be right this moment. That 5-cost Guild Tessero, I believe it is, can get him back from the trash. So for that reason, I think I might be okay just to trash him. And then maybe I play down the 3-cost Beppo, and then combining leader ability with the 3-cost Beppo, maybe I'm able to remove some characters from the field. I actually decide to trash the Guild Tesoro. I think the reason for that is just I want to focus on ramping as quickly as possible, and his on-play ability requires you to de-ramp. Next turn, I see myself at 6 Don, playing down the 6-cost 7,000 power Douglas Bullet, passing it back to them, 4 Don for them to work with. They're going to play down the 4-cost Cavendish and just swing 5,000 into us. I'm thinking we are okay to take this. It's only turn 2, so I think we're fine. We get the 3-cost Baccarat blocker, which is solid. We will certainly need blockers in this matchup. I'm thinking here we just swing 5,000 with our leader, not use leader ability next turn. Not next turn, but the turn after that, we'll be able to play the 10-cost Shanks, which will be pretty epic. Maybe I'll be able to find a Rayleigh in the meantime. 5,000 into 5,000. They are considering countering out of this. They are really considering it, though. They're going to trash a 2k counter. I wonder if they only have 2ks in their hand. Then we'll play down the 6-cost 7,000 power Douglas Bullet. 6 Don for them to work with here. Another Smoker like last game would be very rough, folks. We'll see what they can do, though. They're going to start with the Don on their Cavendish, swing 7,000 into our 5,000 power leader. I'm leaning towards taking this. I don't have a lot of cards in hand. I don't want to use either of my blockers yet. I think I'm okay to go down to 2 life cards, and hopefully they don't just swing really big with their leader and this Cavendish again. They'll give 2 down to their leader, swing 7,000 into us with their leader, using leader ability to restand that Cavendish. 7,000 into us. I'm thinking here we block with Shariah, who is now boosted to 7,000 power, and then 2k counter to keep that Shariah alive. Maybe I should just let that Shariah go, but we did counter to keep him alive. Now 7,000 at us with the Cavendish. We are going to take that to see what we can get. We're looking for something better to play next turn potentially. They're going to have the Vanderdecken. They're going to be able to pop our Shariah, which isn't the biggest of deals. Yeah, that's fine with me. They're going to pop the Shariah. I'd rather them do that than a bigger character. 8 down for us to work with. Nothing ideal. I guess we just double block potentially with Shariah and Baccarat. Setting up 2 blockers doesn't sound like a bad idea. I can swing 7,000 with our leader, and then I'm also going to use leader ability, even though the ramp doesn't really help much right now, just so we can give minus 2,000 power to their Cavendish. Hopefully we can get it off the board here. 7,000 into 4,000. If we can't get it off the board, we might just lose this next turn. We'll see. 7,000 into 4,000. Do they have 2Ks, folks? If they do, we might have to swing with Douglas Bullet. That's how important getting this Cavendish off the field is. They decide not to save it. They will let it go, which is absolutely huge for us. I'm tempted to even swing with the 7,000 power Douglas Bullet anyway, just to apply a little bit of pressure on them. I've done a bad job of applying pressure on their leader just because I've been trying to clear their board. It's really tough to deal with their leader when you're trying to deal with their board. We're going to not swing with Douglas Bullet, play out the 3-cost Baccarat and the 3-cost Shariah, passing it back to them. 8 down for them to work with. A Hody Jones would be pretty nasty here, but at least we have an extra blocker, so I don't think we lose under any circumstance. I don't know, I shouldn't get ahead of myself, folks. For 7 Don, they will have the Hody Jones. They're going to rest my Douglas Bullet and the Baccarat. They're going to be able to swing 8,000 either into life or our board. They're going to go 8,000 with Hody Jones into our life. We're going to use Baccarat's ability, trashing an Iron from our hand and giving us a 2k power up. Then we'll use the 2k counter from our hand. They're going to be able to swing 6,000 now with their leader, 6,000 into life. They'll bounce back the Vanderdecken to their hand, and this one we will block just because we are nervous about going down to 0 against this leader. They'll pass it back to us, 10 Don for us to work with. We're just going to do a 5,000 power leader swing into their life. They've got so many cards in hand. I doubt they take this one. Then we can play down the 10-cost Shanks to pop their Hody Jones, and then I'll pass it back to them, 10 Don for them to work with here. Right away, they're going to play down the 5-cost Smoker and then the 3-cost Mihawk. Off the Mihawk, they will be able to play another Cavendish, and this is not looking great for us, folks. They can restand a Don with Smoker, then swing 8,000 into our life with their leader. They'll bounce back the 2k counter Dracula Mihawk and restand the Cavendish. We are going to block with Douglas Bullet and 2k counter out of that. We top deck the Rayleigh, which might be our saving grace. Do we want to play down the Rayleigh or do we want to play down the 10-cost Shanks? Either way, we can pop one of their characters. 2 blockers on the board, though. If they have another Hody and we can't pop both of their characters, this might be the end for us. We're going to start off with a 5,000 power swing from Uta. I think this is the move, swinging with Uta and then playing down the 10-cost Shanks and not the 8-cost Rayleigh. I mean, I guess we could still play down the 8-cost Rayleigh. We're going to swing with the 10-cost Shanks, which they will take, and now I will pass it back to them. Is it over for us, folks? Are we cooked? If they've got the Hody Jones, we might just be cooked. For 3 Don, they will play out the 3-cost Dracula Mihawk from starter deck 12, also cheating out the Koshiro blocker. They're going to have the Vanderdecken to pop our Shanks. That is a bummer. And then for 5 Don, they'll play down the 5-cost Smoker. They're going to be able to swing 6,000 with Cavendish to draw 2, trash 1 from their hand. This is okay, folks. We're not dead yet. We will survive this turn. We're going to free block the 6,000 power Cavendish swing with Douglas Bullet. Now with 6,000 power swing from their leader, they're going to be able to bounce back one of their cards to their hand, and they could restood Cavendish and swung again with Cavendish, but it wouldn't have made a difference. leaving the Koshiro standing is actually the better play because it's a blocker, of course. We're going to take that, and we get the Gum Gum Molgun trigger. This is going to allow us to KO their Koshiro and basically seal the deal for this game. We had divine luck there, folks. They'll pass it back to me now. I'll start off with the 7,000 power Douglas Bullet Swing. They will take that, and before I can even swing with the Shanks, they will concede. They actually had the counter to get out of that 7,000 power swing, but at this point they were just kind of giving up. Probably raged because of that ridiculous Molgun trigger. Destiny was just on our side. What can I say? GG's, on to the next one. Our last game of the day is going to be against the Yellow Kid from OP10. Now, between this game and the previous two games you just saw, there were two Zoro games, 2 games against the new Green Zoro from OP12, and we just got whooped. Those weren't even worth including in the video. For the sake of time, I'm going to take them out, but yeah, Green Zoro completely ran us over, and I think that is how the matchup is kind of destined. I don't think Red Purple Uta just has the strength it needs to be able to compete with Green Zoro. We're on the odd curve. We're going to start by swinging 5,000 into their life, which they take. We trash an Ein to use leader ability to ramp, and then we'll play out the Shiraya. 5,000 with their leader into our leader. We are definitely going to take this opening hit, see what we can get off of life, and we get the good old 2k counter Beppo. Then they're going to play out the Basil Hawkins for 4 Don, use leader ability to turn him into a blocker. We can expect one of our life cards to get trashed pretty soon. We're going to swing 5,000 with our leader. They're going to block with Basil Hawkins and trash the top of our life. We're down to 2 life. That is a bummer. We play out the 6 cost, 7,000 power Douglas Bullet blocker. That will ideally help protect our life this turn. And now passing it back to them, they are at 6 Don, 5,000 into our life. We're definitely going to free block this with the Douglas Bullet. Then they'll probably play out the new Kuma from OP12. We'll see though. 5,000 into us, we will block. And then as expected, they will have that 6 cost Kuma. They're going to be able to trash a card from their hand, heal a life, and then they'll pass it back to us. 8 Don for us to work with here. No great plays. I don't think we can use Molgun to get rid of that Kuma. I don't hate that idea. Ideally, we'd play like an 8 cost body like Rayleigh, but alas, we do not have that option. We'll use Gum Gum Molgun to pop the Kuma. They're going to heal a life. Now they're at 6 life cards, which is pretty crazy. 4 Don left for us to work with. I'm thinking here maybe we just apply a little bit of pressure with Shiraya and then our leader, and then maybe play down that Baccarat as well. They're going to take that first swing from Shiraya. Do I swing with the Douglas Bullet too? Is that greedy? Maybe it's a little bit greedy. We'll swing 6,000 with our leader, not using leader ability. Next turn, we'll be able to play down that 10 cost Shanks, which will be great, and then we'll play down the Baccarat as well. Passing it to them, 8 Don for them to work with. We could see that 7 cost Trafalgar Law here. We could also see the 8 cost Usus Captain Kidd from OP10. That's a very popular card in this deck as well. They are not going to have a big body to play. They're just going to give 4 Don to their leader, swing 9,000 into our Shiraya, and we could block with Baccarat, which I don't think is the worst idea ever, because Shiraya does have some value that Baccarat does not, but Baccarat's ability to be able to trash a card from your hand and give plus 2,000 during a battle, I think that's valuable, so I'm just going to let that Shiraya go. We're going to swing 5,000. They did play out another 4 cost Basil Hawkins, so they're able to trash one of our life because they block with it. Now we're going to play down the 10 cost Rush Shanks from OP09, swing into their life. They'll take that and we'll pass it back to them. Establishing this 10 cost Shanks is amazing. They don't really have a great way to deal with it, I don't think, and so that should stay on the board pretty much for the rest of the game. For 6 Don, they'll play another Kuma and they'll be able to heal a life. They're going to swing 9,000 with their leader again into our life. I'm actually considering taking this despite me having 2 blockers. I think it might make sense to take this because they have a lot of cards in their deck that can trash our life. So if I don't take this, if I try to protect our life, next turn they might just play an 8 cost Usus Captain Kidd and trash that anyway, and I'm certainly glad I did take that because it was a 10 cost pop Shanks from OP06, which we would not have liked to see that gone in the trash. We're going to swing first for 5,000 with our leader. Now we're going to swing 12,000 with our Shanks. We're going to play down the 10 cost pop Shanks from OP06, popping their Kuma. That lets them heal, but look at this board we're establishing, folks. This board is epic. We've got a couple more big bodies in our hand. We've got another blocker in our hand. We are feeling pretty good about this situation, despite the fact that our opponent is at 5 life and we are at 0. They're going to start their turn by playing out the 2 cost Zeus from OP11, popping our Baccarat, taking the top card of their life. Then they're going to play down the 7 cost Trafalgar Law, put a Supernova, the promo Law, at the top of their life, then give it down to their leader. They're going to swing 7,000 now with their leader into us. I'm thinking we maybe block with Douglas Bullet, but then counter to keep that Douglas Bullet alive. We'll trash the 2k counter Beppo from our hand, and then they'll pass it back to us. They did not use leader ability, and doesn't really matter if they did or didn't, because we'd be able to pop that 7 cost Law regardless with that 10 cost in our hand. We're going to swing 5,000 first with our leader into them. They'll 2k counter out of that with a Zeus. Now a 12,000 power Shanks swing. I imagine they'll take that. They will. They get the trigger to play out that other promo Law. No big deal. We'll swing 12,000 now with our other Shanks. They will take that as well. Now for 10 Don, we're going to play out our 10 cost pop Shanks again, popping their 7 cost Trafalgar Law. As long as they don't have a way to deal with the 6 cost Douglas Bullet, I think we're in a pretty good spot. They're going to play down the 7 cost Trafalgar Law, another one, heal a life, play down the 2 cost Beige Blocker as well, swing 7,000 into us with their leader, and I'm thinking here we block and counter again with that Douglas Bullet, that 7,000 power Douglas Bullet blocker, the real MVP of this match. I'm thinking here we play down the 9 cost Shanks and the 4 cost Uta, establish a blocker, and then also power up our leader by 2,000. Or maybe is it even worth playing out that 9 cost Shanks? Decisions, folks, decisions. I do wish I had another 10 cost Shanks. That would be pretty epic, whether it be the pop Shanks or the rush Shanks. We're going to start off just by swinging with our characters first. 12,000 with one of our Shanks, they take. 12,000 with another, they take. 12,000 again. Are they going to take this? They will not. They will block out of that. Then I'm going to play down the 9 cost Shanks. Technically he is only 6 Don because of his ability. Now I'm a 7,000 power base leader, and I'm still a little bit nervous about potentially dealing with I don't know, ways they could go for lethal. So even though I played out the Shanks, I'm thinking I might play the Uta over him, just to establish the blocker as well. That kind of makes that playing that 9 cost Shanks a little bit of a waste, because of course I just spent 6 Don to give my leader plus 2,000 power, but the plus 2,000 does also apply to us on the defensive side of things, which is why I think it's not a terrible idea. An extra 2k counter, absolutely huge. They're going to play down Akuma, heal another life, give 2 Don to their leader, swing 7,000 into us, 7,000 into 7,000. We can counter out of this. We could also block out of this. I am going to give them a 2k counter Lime Juice. 2 Don left for them to work with. They're going to swing 8,000 with their Trafalgar Law 7 cost, and I was thinking about blocking or countering with Lime Juice here, but I actually think it makes more sense to block with Uta. This Lime Juice could come in handy this next turn. Actually, both of those Lime Juices would have come in handy. I think we might be able to push for game here, even though we only have 1 Lime Juice. We also have the Rayleigh, which is strong, but I think we might as well just go for it with the Lime Juice. We can prevent one of their Beiges from blocking. That leaves them with 2 blockers. Then we can just swing big with our entire board and our leader. We're going to start out with a 7,000 power Douglas Bullet swing. Now, if they have a ton of counter in hand, this could get awkward. They will take that first swing. Now a 12,000 power Shanks swing. We're going to have 3 more of these. They're going to take that one as well. A 12,000 power Shanks swing. They will block with Beige. A 12,000 power Shanks swing. They'll block that with Law. And now I'm going to swing a big 12,000 with our Uta, and they will concede. That was one bricked up hand, folks. Oh my god. That was a really fun one though. GG's. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the games I got for you today. What did you think about them? Uta, not amazing, not the best leader, not even like close to meta. I can't even say you can take this local and maybe catch everyone off guard and win. I just think she's too much of a glass cannon for that to happen. Trashing cards in this current meta feels really bad, and being a 4-life leader, not always a great time either. Let me know what you want me to play next. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, what the heck are you doing? Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Thanks to everyone who's left positive comments. With that being said, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Peace. But seriously though, why aren't you subscribed yet? If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, what the heck? Just kidding. Baby.